Hello and welcome to another part of Design Your Own level tutorial. In this part of the tutorial, what we are going to do is create our texture or just our materials for our chair itself. We did the UV unwrapping, we set up our chair, so now we are ready to actually get to texturing the chair. So first, let's just actually give this proper naming convention. So I'm just going to call this chair bottom. And then this part I'm going to call this chair top. Alright, so essentially what we're going to do is these models are still separated as two separate models, but we're going to work with that because once we actually export them to Unreal Engine 4, Unreal Engine 4 will recognize them as one singular model and we won't have a problem like that. So what we want to do here is let's just see, okay, all of our UV maps and everything is still correct. We want to create a material for this particular piece. So I'm just going to select everything in it. I'm going to go to the Materials tab, New. Let's give it a name, Chair Top Material. And I'm going to click Assign. And then the bottom piece, New. Chair bottom material. I'm going to click Assign. So there we go. Both of them have their separate materials, and we can actually get to creating textures for this now. So what I'm going to do now is then just quickly click New Texture. We're going to use a fairly high resolution. Let's do 2048 by 2048. We'll call this Chair Top Diffuse. And I'm going to click OK. Then what I'm going to do is I want to actually see what I'm doing. So I just want to go into the material mode. We have no lights in our scene, so I'm going to go to Object, Shift A, and I'm just going to add a hemi lamp. And there we go. So I actually think let's try and change this to texture. Okay, it's going to use the material, so we need to assign a new texture to the material. So what we're quickly going to do is we're going to go over to our Textures tab. So from Materials, you go to the right and there's a Texture tab. We're going to click New. And we're going to click New Image. Oh wait, we actually created one already, so that's a Chair Top Diffuse. Now you'll see that everything turns black. Okay, so what we're going to use with this now is what would make this slightly easier is maybe we shouldn't have a completely black texture, but that should be okay for what we want to do now. No, you know what? Let's create a new texture. I'm sorry about this. I'm just going to call this Chair Top Diff again, and I'm going to ignore the alpha. So I'm just going to click there and set the alpha to 0. So it's going to be completely transparent. We're going to go over to my Textures tab over here, and I'm going to change that one to the second one. So you'll see that everything is white. So now what we can do is you can select an area. So we can actually like select a full area. And lasso, and we're going to go into our paint mode. Where's it now? Texture paint, sorry about that. We're going to select our fill tool, set this to completely black, and then here at the bottom there's a little feature called face selection masking for painting. So if we enable that, it will only paint the faces that we had selected at that point. So again, we'll go into edit mode, we'll select this bottom piece over here, and we're going to do the same thing. There we go. And then with these ones over here, same thing, tab to go into edit mode, make sure we select all of these, make sure that they're completely black. This piece over here, actually we just want the front piece to be black, so I'm going to select all, just want to select all of those. then just see if that actually works out. There we go. And again, we're going to make that black. Okay, we missed one face. So there we go. So that is completely black. And then we can actually get to making all the other parts silver. So now we can select all of these parts. And actually we can select all of them together at the same time. We just want to make sure that all the sides are selected. And this one as well. And I'm going to go back into paint mode, maybe set it somewhere to around about silver, and then I'm going to click away. Maybe make it a bit lighter, click away, and there we go. So essentially, if you look at it, that's our chair is actually pretty finished as far as texturing goes. There's one more thing that I said before about the modeling process, where we might want to add like top little cushions here, because we do see that those cushions are in our reference image. So, but for now I'm going to ignore that because I'm pretty happy with the way that this came out. And obviously we do still have UV space over here, so if we want to add those cushions, they are fairly easy. We just extrude some of these or duplicate some of the top of this one and then just overlap it over the top here. But for now I'm going to ignore that. I am pretty happy with the way that this came out. I'm just going to repeat the same process with the bottom over here. So this one is slightly easier because essentially it's this whole section over here is completely silver, so we can just go into paint mode. But first we need to apply texture for this. So we first need to click new. Let's call this chair bottom diffuse. Make sure that the alpha is set to 0. Click OK. And now we can just go to our material. We're going to create a new texture first here, and then select our chair bottom diffuse and go into paint mode, and let's click away. There we go. And one last thing is this one over here actually should be black. So okay, so there's another way that you can make a selection. I don't know if I've shared it before, but essentially what you can do is you can select this vertex and this vertex, and if you hold Control and you push plus, it will actually select outwards until it actually gets to the appropriate amount of vertices that you want to select. So you can actually try this on any given point. You can try it over here. You can just hold Control, push plus, and you can see that's what it does. So it will make this selection slightly easier because we actually get everything that we needed. I'm going to go back into texture paint, set this to completely black, and whoop. Okay, don't understand why I did that now. I want it to use, there we go. Alright, so there we go. And now because we had the overlapping UVs, you can see that all of the wheels have turned black indeed. So for the most part, the bare essentials of texturing our chair is now complete. We can now actually export this to GIMP, and we're going to get a few textures from textures.com or from texturelib.com. I'll just see where the better or higher resolution textures are, and we're going to apply that texture to this particular model, and then when we're finally done, we'll import that to Unreal Engine 4 and we'll see what that looks like. So that is a slightly longer process. So if you liked this video, leave a like. If you didn't, you can leave a dislike. Please subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.